Hi, in this video I want us to look at dipping beds and how dipping beds can be recognised on geological maps. This is a wooden model of some beds that are dipping. If we look at it from a side view, we can see that the beds in this model, picked out with these darker coloured pieces of wood, are inclined from horizontal. These particular beds are fairly gently inclined or gently dipping at about 30 degrees from horizontal. We can recognise beds as dipping, perhaps if we compare it with a horizontal series of beds. This model shows us some horizontal beds where these darker coloured beds follow the contours. So we can see that running through the middle of both of these models we have a valley. That valley shows us that these beds are dipping. If we look at the pattern of beds in that valley, we can see that there's a V shape that goes across the valley. That V shape points in the direction that the beds are dipping. So here we can see a V shape pointing down the valley. If we look at it on a dip cross section, we can see that the beds are inclined in the same direction as that valley goes down. If we see the same set of beds, but in this case dipping at a steeper angle, so these are dipping approximately 75 degrees, we can see that we still get a V shape in the beds, but notice how it becomes less pronounced. Where there's a gentle dip, we see quite a pronounced V, whereas a steep dip, that becomes less pronounced. So we can also tell, as well as the direction of dip, we can also tell how steeply dipping the beds are. If we take that to its maximum extent and compare steeply dipping beds with vertical beds, we can see in a vertical bed that we see a straight line running right the way across the valley. So that there's a progression in the shape of these outcrops from horizontal, following the contours, to a V shape with a gentle dip, a V shape with a steep dip, and a straight line with a vertical